Hello. This is the City of Five Nations podcast, and I am once again sitting in for Daniel Shaughnessy. My name is Cari Berlin, and I am with 20 WestWorks. That is a co-working and office rental and business incubation space on Main Street in Shawnee. And I'm excited to be on the fourth interview out of five this week. It's been several months since we had to shut down business kind of unexpectedly, and we are talking this week about how to get back to work. But I want to tell you, I keep hearing a term that is sort of cringe-worthy to me. It's the term new normal. And I actually really dislike that term. And I was amused to see that dictionary.com had asked their Twitter followers what were the words or phrases that they never wanted to hear again after all of this is over. And new normal actually came as part of the top choices. So I'm not alone. I mean, I love a good oxymoron, new normal, but to me, it implies a sense of permanence to the change. And I don't think anyone is ready for all of the things that are going on to be permanent. One of the things that we immediately felt the loss of was the opportunity to gather in groups. So whether that was a long planned for, long awaited wedding or graduation, or the heartbreak of not being able to attend a loved one's funeral. And there have been conferences that have been canceled, things as big as South by Southwest. Even at 20 West Works, we had kind of gained some momentum on renting the space for business meetings, and that just sort of came to a screeching halt as we had to close down the business. So none of that is what we want as the new normal. So that's why I'm excited today to talk to our guest. She knows the challenges and opportunities brought on by the sudden change in how we gather. So I want to introduce Erin Stevens. Hello, Erin.
Hello, how are you today?
Good. Thanks for joining us. So Erin started as the general manager at the Heart of Oklahoma Expo in August of 2019, when Spectra venue management assumed responsibilities for that facility. Erin moved here from Clovis, New Mexico, where she was the director of finance for 3 years at a venue there. And she graduated with a bachelor's degree from George Washington University and received an MBA from University of Phoenix while traveling or living abroad in Italy. Is that right?
Yes, I'm military, so.
Okay, and you live now on 10 acres with your son Logan and your horses and cats. So welcome to the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we're excited to talk about how to sort of get back into venues like the Expo Center. But I think most people in the City of Five Nations listening group are familiar with the Expo Center. But just in case, can you tell us a little bit about that venue?
Yeah, well, again, it's one of the largest event venues in the area. Inception date, our first, the venue's first event was back in 1980 with the Pot County Junior Livestock Show. So we sit on 52 acres, have an outdoor arena with grandstands with 7,500 seating capacity, an indoor arena in our autocrossy building with 1,000 seating capacity, as well as an additional a little bit over 70,000 square feet of exhibit space. We have the Fred Humphrey Pavilion with over 90,000 square feet of venting space. And then also you come up to the conference center. Downstairs, we have the Avitas Center with 17,400 square feet of ballroom that can be divided into 4 sections, and then 7 individual meeting rooms upstairs. So pretty much any event that you can think of, we can accommodate and get you in.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've been there for several events, and it is a beautiful space. And I'm really amazed by the extent of it and the different types of venues or spaces that you have available. So I wanted to start by talking about your customers' needs, and then maybe we can move to sustaining your business, and then talk a little bit about leadership challenges at this time. So can you start maybe by describing what the customer could have expected from the Expo Center before, like a few months ago? What could they have expected when they connected with you?
So we have essentially we have a couple different groups of customer bases. We have the promoters that are bringing the events in, whether it be a personal wedding or a banquet, flea market. So we are working with those customers and making sure that their event goes off the way they want to, giving them pointers on, hopefully making it better and more enjoyable for them as well as their patrons. And then of course we have the city of Shawnee and everyone in the surrounding areas in Potawatomi County, and all of the residents we have around here. Our goal is to provide a safe and fun environment for events of all kinds, whether it be an ag event or a consumer event, or a medical event. We have some dental clinics coming up in the future. So just to prior to this, it was, hey, seating arrangement. I mean, we did everything prior to COVID that we're going to be doing after. It just is looking a little different. Working with different partners on, how can we make your meeting the best it's going to be? How can we accommodate your bull riding and at the same time up in the conference center have a 500-person banquet? Right. So it's always a fun atmosphere to work in, and I also think attend because you can come to the expo. We had one weekend in February, shortly before all the shutdown, right, where we had a bull riding, we had outlaw kart racing, a flea market, and a Herps exotic pet show, all in the same weekend.
All the same weekend, wow.
And get pretty much anything you can imagine, right, all in place at the same time. So
right. Well, and then the rules change, whether that's national, state, city ordinances prohibiting gatherings of various sizes. So what was sort of the immediate effect of all those rule changes on your customers?
Well, unfortunately, since pretty much the first one was, I think the first declaration that came down on March 16th, I believe, was 10 people.
10 people, right.
So unfortunately, pretty much all of our events, we had to postpone. Obviously, we worked with the promoters. A lot of them rescheduled, whether they pushed it back to the fall. And of course, there is the uncertainty of how long is this going to last? As we look around the country, there's still plenty of places that are nowhere near as far as we are right now. So, it changed immediately, literally that day. It was okay. Well, all of our events were over 10 people. So, so we have been working diligently with the promoters, with the banquets, the fundraisers. We have a lot of community events here. The ag world, unfortunately, a lot of those it's postponing, but it may be next year because their season is over. But we're working with them, and then to move forward and just to get through what we have to get through. Because
right. Is there, so when you're ready to reopen, whenever you're ready to kind of move forward, do you think is there pent up demand? I mean, do you have lots of folks in line ready to get on board again?
I think we do. I think it's been seen in a couple events that have already been hosted around the state. Most people know we are a very high ag venue. We have a lot of team ropings. We have sortings, rodeos, stuff like that. So I know recently there was a roping in Ada that had great turnouts. We still have to be very careful and all the appropriate guidelines and policies and procedures put down by the city, the state, the CDC. But there's a demand. Gathering and the live experience, the live event experience is just part of the human experience. And that's what we try and cultivate. So we're excited to get back to it. Having an event venue without events is weird. But I our promoters, our friends, our partners, and our attendees are excited to get back and do so safely, though.
Yeah, I like what you said about kind of gathering as part of this human experience. I had read a quote by Gary Shapiro. He's the president of the Consumer Technology Association, and he said something similar. He said that events spur innovation, spread knowledge, they inspire with the five senses experience, which you can't do online. They save fuel for replacing months of travel where everybody kind of gathers in one place, and it builds relationships, strengthens relationships. So yeah, there's really no good replacement for in-person gatherings, and especially when you're talking about ag events or rodeos or something like that. You just can't do that online. So
Yeah, no.
not going to happen. Okay. Well, how are you? So if you look at what you provide, who you serve, how you deliver services, what is changing?
So, the world of eventing, and you had mentioned earlier on your intro about the new normal.
Right.
I'm right there with you. Like, this is a temporary normal, I hope.
Right. I don't want it to be the new normal.
I hope it's not the new outstanding. I like to hug people. I like to
Right, exactly.
sit next to somebody in a restaurant that
Mhm.
and meet new people at all of my events. But in the time being, we do have to take things seriously, and we do have to look at what the experts are putting down. So, we are closely following Governor Stitt's outline to recover safely, and which of course ties in closely to the CDC guidelines. And then I have huge teams of people behind me with Spectra venue management and all of their recovery plans. We have a large Together Again plan that sets down pages worth of ideas and suggestions and recommendations in order to fit into all of our different venues and our types of events, because not all of our venues have, team sortings for where horses are chasing cows.
Right.
And there's many venues that aren't able to open up at all very soon because they're primarily those large gatherings, the concert industry. So we're getting innovative and creative on some things. We have to watch capacities and ensure our seating is, when you have a set of bleachers, you have to get a little creative on how you're going to enforce social distancing.
Right, exactly.
On straight floor seating. So we're getting there, and we're working diligently, and we have been the entire time that we've been closed for events to ensure we're getting proper sanitation in. We're actually in the process of still remodeling our concession stands. So that'll be a new face coming up soon. And, it's just making sure we're being as safe as we can, and making sure that when our public comes back, they're going to feel comfortable coming back and be able to enjoy the events and not have to worry about, has this been cleaned correctly? Because it has.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned that you kind of had the we, or the sort of the corporate. So you get a lot of support then from your corporate from Spectra, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They as soon as it started, they had a team where it was like, okay, handling the shutdowns and handling all of the issues and the complications and everything that the shutdowns brought. But at the same time, we knew we were going to open back up. It's just a question of when, and then details. So at the same time, they were also putting together the reopening team and working on these plans to help all of us. We have with F&B, food and beverage, we have over 300 venues across the country. So it's interesting waters to navigate from their point, because there were 50 states, which are all opening at different times and in different. But it's such a comprehensive plan, everything from, how to run a ticket office and how to run parking, or, and not all of them apply to every venue, but all of them are good ideas. I've also worked with other local, experts and talked to other venues, inside and outside of Spectra. So it's definitely a team effort. The industry itself is really coming together.
Yeah. How have you changed your sort of definition of success for the future, or your scoreboard? Are you kind of expecting to go back to where you were before? I'm not sure there's a lot of options for venues, but how will you define success in the future?
Well, our success is, I think, serving the community and serving the public.
Right.
I mean, you can go down to the nitty gritty, you can look at the bottom line for events and everything else, but when it comes to the bottom line of our purpose and our goal out there for the Expo Center, the heart of Oklahoma Expo Center, is to really just be there for the community, be there for the event promoters that need somewhere to go, that want somewhere to go, just so that standard hasn't changed, and it's not. I don't see it ever changing. You throw what you will at me, like
you're gonna win this one.
We're gonna win, and we are gonna be there, and we're going to make sure. I mean, we've stayed open the entire time with our RV park, so we have plenty of people that stay on longer term basis, and we needed to stay open and stay there available for them. Because we are an affordable RV park. We have over 700 spaces. So that's one thing that we've been able to still continue to provide. At one point, we were a space for the firefighters to come. And so, on 24-hour shifts, they didn't have to try and go home, and they didn't worry about bringing anything home to their families.
Yeah.
And, our first line response people in all the fields, medical, fire, police, everything, we're so grateful for them. I speak for everyone I know.
Right.
Just to be able to provide something even little for them was great.
That's wonderful. So as a leader, this is such a challenging time. What has been the biggest challenge for you in your leadership position?
Managing an event venue without events.
Without events.
I mean, it's just, there's a lot of people that are disappointed. There's different things that just couldn't happen. Most of them are out of our control or out of the event promoters' control. Like, there are some events that were canceled that it hurts our hearts, and it hurts those that made the decision. It hurts our hearts to do it. But to just the plausibility of the events and making sure we are keeping everyone safe and not causing any, issues beyond what we need to. Well, we don't need to cause issues at all.
Right.
But to avoid that, to ensure that our events are safe, our public is safe, our contestants are safe, and just to make sure that it's been hard. I hate looking at my calendar and seeing no events. That was hard for me. It was hard for my staff. We're all sitting there like, okay. But it was a good time. I mean, silver lining, we had time to regroup. We had time to really look at some of the points and the issues, building wise, and some repairs, and just kind of regroup and take a deep breath, because we knew we were coming back. It was a matter of when and how exactly that looks. We knew we were coming back. So it's just the downtime has probably been the hardest management thing.
Right. How are you taking care of yourself personally?
Well, I'm working right along. I have the horses at home. My 10-year-old is a blessing. So we go into mile walks every day. I feel better than I have in a long time in that respect. I've learned a lot of YouTube from my 10-year-old, and he is kind of pretty amazing at Rubik's cubes. So,
oh, wow.
And I have done one Rubik's Cube in my entire life, and it was probably when I was 13. I got it, I did it, and I was done. And
you were done.
I was like, light
Check that off. Right.
but my son, they have like, I don't even know how many different kinds of Rubik's cubes. They're
Right.
not Rubik's.
Right.
Rubik's is the brand, but
Right.
he's like training for competitions or whatever. He's like, Mom, my new average is 3 minutes. I'm like, okay,
Okay.
but you're awesome. So,
That's
you know,
funny.
taking care of myself has really been a lot of mental and emotional right now because
Mhm.
it's connecting back with my land.
Mhm.
I lived here a long time ago, and we moved in 2011 to Italy, and
Mhm.
then moving back in August. So I've been away from my 10 acres that I love to death for a
Mhm.
long time. And so I've gotten to reconnect with the land and the area and the people.
Mhm.
Even though most of the people, it's been reconnecting virtually.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, no, and then just again, the time with my son has been precious, and
Yeah.
really, I'm a strict teacher, I'll tell you.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I give him more work than most of the schools, but it's been a blessing, and science experiments are really fun.
That sounds fun. Well, if I could recap for our listeners, because I want to recap maybe some takeaways from what we've talked about so that they can use them in their business. So, three things that I heard you say that maybe we could share, could remind our listeners. Excuse me. One is that I love was it Together Again plan? Is that what you're calling it? The
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, it's together again. That is our plan from my Spectra, and yeah, so it's just yeah, so we can all come back together again from this
Right.
time.
So first of all, take the time to make a plan. I know some of us in business are sort of like, well, we'll just wing it whenever the doors open back up. But I think
Uh,
taking the time to actually carefully make a plan in each of the areas of business. And then I heard you say that you have used the downtime to try to find some improvements in your facility and in your business. So that's a second takeaway. And then third, I heard you say that you're trying to maintain some level of revenue or operation by continuing to have your RV park open. Is that right?
yes, yeah, yeah. I mean, we there's not we can't really do events. We can't really do that because of the gathering. Now we do have events coming up, so we're excited
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
But no, we continued our RV, and we kept that open the entire time.
Yeah.
So yes, we have had a little bit of revenue, which is
Yeah.
great, and
Right.
not all event venues can say that. So we are definitely
Right.
blessed in that,
Yeah.
in having this fabulous facility for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, just be there for your customers and your patrons and your
Mhm.
clients and your partners however you can. That's not always doesn't look the same as it did before.
Right.
Riding, we're looking at doing no spectators. It's past our phases, but we're looking at possibly doing no spectators and doing
Mhm.
full live streaming, and
Oh, yeah.
or partially some spectators and with a cap capacity, and then live streaming the rest, so we can
Right.
make sure people are still being able to enjoy, even if they can't come out or they're not comfortable coming out, because that's
Right.
okay too. So yeah, we're just trying to be there and be innovative and creative, and
Yeah.
you know
That's good. So as we kind of wrap up, what would you like to tell your customers? What would you like to tell folks that are fans of and customers of the Hard Oklahoma Expo Center?
bottom line, we are excited for the upcoming months and bringing you all back. And we have been diligently working this entire time to make sure that when we do, it is safe, it is fun, and we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's and making sure that when we open back up. And right now, we plan to open for team sorting on the 22nd of this month.
Okay.
23rd, sorry, the 23rd, it's Saturday. And just have fun, be smart, be safe, and watch our website and which will be new soon. We have a new website coming out. And watch our Facebook because we'll be posting our guidelines and how we're following those rules and how we're all going to come back together safely during this temporary. Let's go with temporary
Let's
normal.
go with temporary. I like it. I like it. Yeah, let's not do the new normal. Okay. Well, I think you've touched on so many things that businesses can kind of take away for their own sort of re-entry into the economy. But I really appreciate you getting together with us today and kind of sharing what's going on, because I know that's a really key part of life in the city of Five Nations in Shawnee, and so I know folks will be really glad to have it available again to them. So
We are
thank
excited
you.
to unlock that door and be right back. So
Right, sounds good. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate it.
thank you.
All right. Hey, that was a great conversation, and I really appreciate her being here today. That is really a key venue here or in Shawnee, and man, it'll be exciting to have that back open and really get to be able to be back in touch with folks and enjoy the group activities that we have all been missing. So thank you so much for sharing with us. I want to give a little teaser for tomorrow. Tomorrow is our last day that we're doing these interviews, and we're going to have Gary Frazier from 405 Fitness with us. So we haven't talked to anybody from a gym, and he's right there on Main Street in Shawnee. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say about how he is going to get back to doing business. So be sure and join us again. The time will be 2:00 in the afternoon instead of 10 in the morning. And so please make a note of that change, but we'd love to have you join us tomorrow. And just a reminder, if you're feeling isolated or you're feeling like you need some support as you get back to doing business, please reach out to me at 20 WestWorks. We're forming a group that will support one another, support each business as we work on re-entry into the economy. And also, we're working on reopening our similar. We're a tiny little space, but compared to the Expo Center, but we're working on the best ways to reopen so that folks can take advantage of our meeting space and our co-working space. And so check out our website at 20westmain.co, and you can email me. I think we'll have the email information, but it's info@20westmain.space. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been a great conversation, and enjoy this day.